Bravo 2 rounds, 3 guns in effect. Target number, Sierra, Tango, 205, over. Shot over. Flash.
Okay. So, nowhere on the internet have I seen a SSG24 with a Mancraft kit installed, as in the install process. I've seen people that have done it, as in they've completed it, but I've not seen anywhere where they're doing the install. So this is a stripped down SSG24. As you can see, there's the barrel. All of the innards have been taken out. There are plenty of videos on stripping the SSG24. I may even have one. This is so you've got the cylinder empty, and you've got the barrel housing itself again empty, like so. This is the drop-in kit from Mancraft, as you can see. Now it comes in 2 parts. You've got the hose assembly, which fits into the back of here. You've got the spring, which replaces the spring in the gun, and you've got the tubing and the end nozzle itself. All this slides into the empty cylinder. Okay. Now, the issue with this is that you have to be careful how you handle this component. In here, there is there's an O-ring that I've sealed with some PTFE tape. If I unscrew it slowly, you'll see what I mean. There's the black seal, and the tape's in the background. Okay. So you have to be very careful with these seals, or else it leaks. In the front, this actually pushes on, as you can see here. So this is the nozzle itself, and this is the entry point. Now, I'm going to be the first to admit that from a HPA perspective, this isn't something I've ever done. As in, I'm new to this. So comments are welcome, right? If there's an easy way of doing this, then please let me know. Okay. So in order to do this, you're going to have to separate these two. And the reason why is because you've got to get these inside here. Now, the way it works is you'll notice that on your trigger box, either this one or let me show you with the other one I had. This lovely piece of kit, which unfortunately I can't use in this. The trigger box itself has this, or the pin, right? We'll call it the pin for now. You'll recognise it because it's an integral part of the gear of the trigger mechanism. And then you've got the sear. So from here on out, this needs to be removed, because the way this works is that the hose comes out of the place where the pin goes in here. Let me just double check the screen. There we go, sorry. It's a GoPro camera, so it turns itself off. From this hole here, which is where this pin normally sits, like so. The other way around, of course. You'll see how that fits in there. Now, in order to facilitate that, it uses, and this comes with it, this copper cylinder. And the idea is, and this took me some time to figure out, and I do apologise, but again, I'm new to this stuff, new to HPA, is it fits over the pipe, or this hose. Now, I think this is a 4mm hose, so it's a small diameter hose. And this goes all the way down the hose. When it's fitted into the gun, I'll just pull this through. Like so, until you get to this bit here. Now, when it gets to this bit here, this is the bit that has to be. This is the bit that comes out of the gun. Now, this is not going to work if it's here or there. It's just not going to work because it has to be bent at a 90-degree angle. So basically, what you're trying to do is this, to get as clean a 90-degree as possible, because this pin sits against the copper tube sits against this pin here, And what happens is basically that stops it from moving backwards, but allows the cylinder to move backwards. And that's got to come out of this hole here. Now, if you put too much slack on, what's going to happen is that this has the possibility of being pulled back with the pin, which will damage the hose. So you don't want that. So we'll pull that off for now. So the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure you've got a cloth to remove any grease off your hands. I just say your hands. I can't use that one because I've got a lot of respect for this Springer Custom Works trigger. It's beautiful. It just clicks. It's CNC machine. It's fantastic. But I'm not selling these. If you're interested, you can look this up. However, you can't take this out without disassembling the whole thing, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to use the old trigger mechanism after destroying everything on my desk. And the old one is this one. And this is the standard one that comes with the gun, minus the safety. I've taken the safety off, okay, because it's on the Springer one. And to be honest, I'm not using it anyway. So as you can see, I've also taken the pin out. There's a solid pin that goes in here. And the reason I've done that is because the tube has to come through that assembly, all right? But it doesn't terminate. It doesn't come out that end. So we don't need that right now. Sorry, we will need that right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the cylinder back in, like so. Now I've taken out I've got the piston rings and things from Chris Chatfield, which are brilliant. They really help on the gun. But I found that for some bizarre reason, I couldn't get it to work with this. I'm sure somebody will, but right now, this is where I am. I'm then going to take this and I'm going to thread it into the tube so it comes out, and I'm going to push it all the way down so it bypasses this bit here but comes out at this hole, like so. Now all I'm doing here is I'm sticking some tweezers into the hole very gently so not to damage it, to allow it to come out of this hole here, okay? Now as I pull this, you don't want to pull too tightly, and if you find that there's resistance, push from this end. It'll just come through. So I'm going to keep doing this to make sure that everything comes through, like so. And you could actually stick the tube on at this point in time and just have that, but I neglected to do that. In fact, to be honest, looking at it this way, there was no reason for me to separate the piston. But, you know, whatever. So then I'm going to put the tube on. I'm going to pass it all the way down the hose to the hole. Now, the last component is basically moving all of this into the cylinder. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull all this through. I'm trying to get as much of this on camera as possible. Like so. So I've got the piston going into the tube. Then I'm going to make sure that I've got the ring going all the way down, like so. And what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to push this inside, like that. And the reason why is because as this comes through, I want it to be as close to the piston head as possible. I mean, you can just pull it out again and push this right down. But when you get to about here, so you see where the piston is, then make sure that this is inside, and then just give it a tug like that. You want to basically make sure that this is as straight as possible when it's next to this bit, because as you push it back, it's going to also push this pin forward, right? So you need to make sure, give it a good pull, make sure that it's in, and then you can tighten up the cylinder. And like everything else in life, it doesn't want to cooperate. There we go. I'll just do this. I'll just tighten this up here. rag if you want to. Don't hang off it, you just need to tighten this up. Anyway, this is what you're left with. So you've got your piston in there, you've got your spring in there. Now the spring under tension, as you can see there, you'll find that when you pull this back, there's not a lot to it. It doesn't move as far back as it used to. The best way to see this is really to attach the trigger mechanism. So I'm going to do that now. So of course what you have to do is with your trigger, you need to pass the tube, wherever it is, through the trigger box, like so. And again, let it go all the way down. And then this bit slides into that bit there. And then of course you need to fasten this up. So I'm just going to do that. One thing I would say about the SSG24, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the rifle, I really do. But these screws that hold your trigger box in place thread very easily, so do not hang off them. Just pinch them tight. I've already got a problem with the back one. I've actually ordered the this component here, a new one of these. A lot of you probably just rethread that out, but I'm terrible at that kind of stuff, so I'm just going to, for the cost of it, it wasn't very expensive. I'm just going to do that. You'll also find that this here, this block, where it doesn't align straight with that, you'll find that the screw will move forward slightly. And you'll know because as you wiggle this screw around, it'll then slide into place. And it's the margin for error on it is tiny. So I'm just going to do that. I mean, I'm using Allen keys on this, but I would highly recommend using an Allen screwdriver of some description, just because you can get a bit more of a pull on it, a push on it, I should say, and it's going to be a lot easier to get in place. There we go. So let's see. I would also recommend a bit of Loctite on these screws, because let's face it, when this is all in place, you don't really want it to move very far. Now this screw is just turning. It's just going on. So. But it'll hold it in place for what I'm intending to show you. So now this is all here. You've got the feed line coming out, and that goes to wherever you want. When you pull it back, you'll see it's a lot less than it was before. Before that, it comes right out here, back in, down, and you still get that. Clang as it hits. I'm pretty sure there's many things you can do to silence that. There'll be loads of things that you can do to silence that, or to make it quieter. But remember, right now, this is about how you install this piston. At this point, it's pretty much installed, okay? You can run this however you want. You put it wherever you want. And it basically, if you get to the end here, I also purchased the Mancraft, sorry, not this one. This one, which has got the regulator on it as well. And on the regulator, you can regulate it this way, or you can release the gas here. This is push fit, so it just goes straight in there. Make sure you push it firmly in, and then it won't come out. And then what you do is you take if you're using a CO2 adapter like this, you put your CO2 tube in, seal it. Now, for the purpose of testing, because I had a seal problem, I'm going to carry on this video to test it, but at this point, that's pretty much it. You just reassemble your rifle, feed this out however you want. What I would recommend, though, is when you first put your rifle together, just fix it in and test it. Don't put it all together before you test it, because if there's any leaks, now is the time to fix them, not when you've got the rifle completely together. There are other videos that show you how good this fires or how good it doesn't fire. There's videos about HPA and connecting all of this assembly to a HPA tank. I'm not covering that here, and the reason why I'm not is because, like I say, I'm not the guy to do that. But I couldn't find any videos on how this fits together. Some of you will say it's very straightforward, and maybe it is. But for those of you that don't deal in straightforward and just need a little bit of a hand, this is it. If you're wondering what the camouflage tape is, it's Silo's camouflage tape that you can buy from Skirmish Shop NL or wherever. The trigger box that I was showing before, that's also from, well, well, you can find that yourself. That's from Skirmish Shop as well. Be careful with these two Allen screws. They really are easy to damage. And I'm pretty good at not damaging stuff, but I've still managed to take the back one out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get a fresh bulb, and I'm going to see if this leaks.